Bruce, tell me a bit more about how you approach the earning and saving and spending.
If you want it, get it. That's it.
I like to shop.
A lot.
I want you to find out what you spent in 2020 on Amazon. As the first part of organizing your finances is to actually know what your burn rate is to actually know what you're spending.
I'm Dallas.
I'm Dennis.
I am a receptionist at a massage studio.
And I'm a software designer, and we live in Nashville, Tennessee.
We met on Bumble about 3 years ago.
Coming up on our 3-year anniversary.
He was my last ditch effort, to be honest. I was over the dating scene, and he started talking to me about theater, which is something I'm very passionate about, which caught my attention, and we went on our first date, and I don't know, the rest is history, I guess. Well, I am very, spontaneous, and I guess flighty is not the right word. He grounds me, is what I'm trying to say. We are complete opposites. I've never met someone whose brain works so differently from mine.
What I like to tell other people is that our personalities are very much opposite, but our hobbies and the foundational elements of our personality, I think kind of had a lot of overlap.
We both like to watch anime, video games. Yes, we love food, cooking. We both love music. I sing and I play piano, and he likes to produce music. He makes lo-fi beats and stuff like that. I have a love-hate relationship with money, I think. It makes me anxious. It makes me nervous.
Any of the extra money we have, we're trying to get down on debt, and it feels like it's just a recurring theme where we get down a little bit on the debt, and then the next month it's well, where did this debt come from?
I'm definitely feeling anxiety about talking to someone about our finances. I mean, I've never talked to anyone about my finances.
Outside of us and our parents.
Yeah.
I'm nervous, and again, I'm just embarrassed to talk about some of the stuff with finances, so I'm definitely nervous, but excited to see how it goes.
Yeah. Nervous excitement. Mostly nerves.
Hey guys, good to see you. This is our 11-year-old toothless dog. He's a little sleepy, so he's kind of, hi Owen. Owen, can you say hi? He's actually usually hyper, but he's sleepy this morning. He's half deaf. Owen. We don't know which ear. They didn't tell us.
Oh, I think Ace was let out.
Hey, Ace. Oh my God. Ace is he's big, man.
All right, Ace.
Down.
You're down. Nope, get down.
Ace.
Oh my God, he's so sweet. Oh, he's just all sleepy.
Okay, go get some food. Go eat.
Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
There you go.
So tell me how your homework went. How did the challenges go?
It was okay. It wasn't as tough as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
So-
I think we did really well. We didn't finish all of the homework. Not all of them were completed, but we did the majority of them. And this guy here, I had to help him with a couple of them. He didn't follow through on all his own homework. So yeah, I helped him by going through the account to figure out how much he spent on Amazon. So we don't have the numbers for last year, but we have how much he spent so far this year.
How much did he spend so far this year?
Almost 1,500. Yeah, 1,475 and some change.
Okay. All right. And that's about where you thought you'd be, right, Bruce?
Yeah, I thought it'd be about 1,500.
Okay.
Only because I'm on those sites where I'm getting things for $4. So
That's true. So it's volume, which
Yes.
is good. So did you have a chance to look through and find out if you could glean any insights about what are the types of things that I buy?
not really. The range of things that I buy, it varies. It's very wide, from nutritional things to vitamins to electronics, things for cars, a little bit of everything.
How did it go sitting down together and going through the list before you bought things?
So I think it was less about the list. I think it was more where he would see something he wanted and then he would send me a text message or a messenger message of what he was looking to purchase. And then I would say, okay, no, but add it to the list. So that I kind of had to remind him, add it to the list for now. That's something we're going to table.
The checking in with you before I spend part, not so much fun, but
And to be honest, you don't always do it.
well, there's some things there's one thing I just couldn't miss. It was $5 for an $80 razor.
You know, I'm literally in bed next to you, right? When you're looking at these, that you can easily just say, hey.
Oh, I didn't want to disturb you. I thought you were going to sleep. I am thoughtful.
When you want to be. There was one thing I think we agreed on that we should get now.
The furniture covers.
Yes, the furniture covers. So he recently purchased some furniture for our patio and he wanted to get covers. The price was really good and he had a Amazon gift card. So it all ended up being a decent price. And we agreed that's coming off of the $250 of his Amazon budget. So that we agreed on after a conversation. But everything else that he was considering, I was like, no, just add it to the list.
So how did that feel, Bruce? Did you feel like, oh, that wasn't so bad? Getting her input was helpful?
That
Or did you
wasn't
feel
bad
like
at all.
it feels like you're having more conversations about it, which is good.
Yeah, because usually I'll just order it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you nervous?
Yeah, a little bit.
I am too.
I don't know why though.
It'll be fine.
But yeah, I'm excited. I think it'll be good for us.
Thanks, too.
Hi guys, how's it going?
It's good. Great. We're excited to chat today.
Awesome. Well, my name is Jarrell Butler. I'm a certified financial planner. Very, very excited to be on the call with you guys today.
Us too.
I would love to know what are some of the short-term goals that you guys have, and then what are some long-term goals that you guys both have financially.
I think for short-term goals, we want to get all of our credit card debt paid off. Like that's kind of top of mind right now, is paying off our credit card debt. And long-term, we both just want to have a substantial savings. Pretty much all of our extra money is going towards our credit card debt. So that's kind of our main focus right now. And then for the future, we want to end up saving enough to put like a down payment on our first house.
I think also for short-term goals, it would be really helpful for us to get more self-discipline in terms of like we're pretty strict about our budget. You know, we use like the bucket method. So we have sectioned out for all of the amount of money that we have to pay for our bills and whatnot. But I feel like we definitely have like some small purchases that come up that, you know, in the moment we're like, oh, it's $20, $30, like that's not a big deal. But obviously those add up over the couple of weeks that we do it. And then by the next paycheck, we're like trying to figure out, oh, we can't be buying out anything. We have to be super strict with what we're doing right now. So I think short term, just being more self-disciplined and have like some sort of plan that we can kind of stick to, I think would really help us.
You know, honestly, a lot of people in your boat have similar obstacles, right? In terms of, hey, you know, I think I have a steady budget, but I don't necessarily have a game plan on how to get to that next level or that next step. Yeah. Do you guys already have a prepared budget that, you know, you guys maybe want to talk through?
Yeah, we do. It's pretty lengthy, but
it's extensive.
Yeah, I have like a whole spreadsheet set, and then I basically have it as like per 2 weeks. So every paycheck that I get for my stuff and for Dallas as well. And then for every month, obviously like that adds up just to 2 weeks. So just to keep a mental note. And then each of those I put into separate parts of my bank account at the moment. So that's kind of like sectioned off, and I can't really like go into that unless it's like for emergencies. So I keep that away.
Okay, great. Well, you know what? A couple of things that you said that was really important. One, you have a system of different bank accounts. Like that's really, really important. Well, you need a savings account that's truly going to be a savings account. Not have easy access to transfer money and move money over. Also, having an account just for your bills. Because you guys already have a prepared budget based on your bi-weekly income, you have an idea of how much you're spending toward bills each month. Those dedicated bills, right? That should be one account as well. Checking account is fine for that. And then have a checking account for discretionary items, right? So things that may change from month to month. Hey, you guys may want to go to the movies. Well, I guess post-pandemic, at some point go to the movies or have a date night, go out, or things that aren't normally true week by week type of expense. Have an account for those as well. So that's really good that you guys already at least have somewhat of a system in place.
That's nice to know.
Yeah.
Bruce, when you're super busy, do you buy more stuff, buy less stuff? Do you have less time to shop online?
I have a lot less time to shop online. Like my phone would die. A lot of times I don't even charge it. I would just keep going. Staying
So
busy.
that's sort of a natural mechanism to curb your spending. Finding things that you're interested in that keep you busy that aren't shopping. That's probably a very good natural way to just not have downtime and spend it buying stuff.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Last two things. Did you set up a separate account and have the $250 going in?
Yes, I set up a
You
separate
did?
savings account. I did, yeah.
Good for you.
And transferred
Haizel's on it.
$250 into it. Yeah, I when I say I'm gonna do something, I usually get it done. So I set up his savings account and I transferred $250 from his checking account into that savings account, and that's there and it's accessible to both of us.
So can you set it up, Haizel, so $250 goes in every month and then all the Amazon purchases come from there, from his Amazon? So it's automatic, so you never have to think about it? Okay, I would do that. Make it automatic. And did you have a chance, Haizel, to open accounts for the kids?
Yes.
She is so on it.
And their accounts are set up. I put just $5 in for now. We were talking about them getting some money coming in soon. Like, can we just put it on the account? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. That's what it's there for. So they're already thinking about using the account to like keep their money, hold their money in.
That's great. And then are you going to talk about the expectations about what they should spend their money on from the account versus what you'll spend money on? Do they have an idea of how to use their savings account?
Well, we're going to go over that. We're going to talk about that when I sit down with them to go over the account.
That's great. And the Capital One savings. So this is what I usually open for clients too. The Capital One savings pays interest, and it's better interest than adults usually get on their savings. So it's really good for the kids to see, oh, if I keep it in the bank, and you can explain the bank uses it, they lend it out and they pay you to be able to use your money. And so they get to learn, oh, there's a benefit to actually not spending it in addition to having it later, as it gets interest.
Yeah.
And then eventually when they invest it, it compounds. So that's fantastic. The kids seem like they're pretty curious about their finances.
Yeah, I've been talking with them about money, for a while. So I think that it's now becoming more relatable as they're getting older. They want money, they want things. That is starting to relate more. What I was trying to teach them is starting to become more realistic for them. I think that we're definitely setting things up, putting things in place for ourselves and the kids.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited to see with you reducing your Amazon purchases, how much you're able to accumulate and then potentially rolling that into some kind of an investment.
So you guys mentioned that eventually at some point you want to be able to qualify for a house. Do you have a range of the time frame in which you want to be in position to qualify?
Within like 2 to 3 years is when we want to
That sounds
look at houses to buy.
So one thing I would definitely challenge you guys on is to get a healthy debt to income ratio.
I'm Kiersten Saunders.
And I'm Julien Saunders. And today we're going to talk about the debt to income ratio. So when you think about a debt to income ratio, what do you think about?
You know, honestly, I think about the perfect cup of coffee. If you imagine your income to be the coffee and your debt to be the cream, your debt to income ratio is about finding the ideal balance between the two of them.
Okay, so I'm taking my debt and I'm pouring it into my income?
No, what you're looking for is a ratio. So you're comparing the mass of one to the mass of the other. And what banks are looking at is the color, right? So there are some people in the world that have a philosophy that you shouldn't have any debt and they prefer their coffee just black. And then there are others that prefer like a little bit of debt and your coffee's kind of like a caramelly, like light brown. And then there are other people who prefer, milky coffee. But the point is, at some point, it isn't coffee anymore.
That actually works for me, not only because I agree with that framework, but because I do prefer my coffee black.
And when we say debt, this can mean credit card debt, student loan debt, any auto loans, personal loans. So this isn't including like your, monthly rent and things like that. Just things that you are in debt to another party. So you mentioned that you guys do have some credit card debt, which honestly most millennials do, right? That's a normal thing. But what you can do now to put you guys in position to be able to successfully qualify for a home and have that process be a breeze is to try to have a debt to income ratio under 20%.
One of the reasons that banks use ratios instead of just using a flat income number or a flat debt number is because ratios allow them to compare people to other people. The math works the same whether you make $250,000 a year or you make $40,000 a year.
So let's use an example. Let's say you owe $20,000 in debt and your income is $40,000. Your debt to income ratio is going to be 0.5, which may not sound that bad because your income is more than your debt. Problem is banks are really looking for something in the 30 to 40% range, or the 0.3 to 0.4.
And a good ratio to have to qualify for a house is around 20 to 28%. So let's, figure out a plan to get you guys in that 20% range. As you go to apply for a mortgage, whatever your monthly mortgage is, that number is going to be considered debt. So that number is going to get added to that debt to income ratio. And then from a perspective of you guys being in a position to comfortably pay the mortgage each month, you don't want a debt to income ratio that is over 36%.
And if you find that your debt to income ratio is above that benchmark, you really have two options. You can either lower your debt or raise your income, or you can do both. We recommend doing both at the same time, but you do have options to very quickly change your debt to income ratio.
In a perfect world, you don't have any debt, and banks look at that as you're absolutely perfect, but that may not always be achievable for some people. So aim for a debt to income ratio that's in its low 30s or lower.
He's already paid off his student loan debt, but I still have student loan debt. About $30,000 of debt for me.
It's fun.
Yeah. And I was actually going to ask, like, how is it possible to get that ratio in a good place when you have, like, so much student loan debt?
Great question. In the mortgage process, student loan debt is looked at differently than your traditional consumer debt. Number one, being in some type of repayment plan pays dividends.
Today we are talking about student loans. So let's get right into it. What is the difference between a federal and a private student loan? A federal student loan is provided specifically from the government. If you are applying for financial aid, it is very likely that your school is going to offer you federal student loans or federal aid first before you have to go the private loan route. Private loans are taken out from, private companies. So that means you take it out from a bank, a credit union, or a state agency. Private loans also usually require you to apply and have some sort of credit check. And if you do not have established credit, it will require a cosigner.
I'm a big proponent of keeping loans federal and not private. The reason being is because you have the flexibility to change how you pay the loans at any given time. Once you refinance into a private loan, you lose that flexibility.
Private loans do not currently offer consolidation, they offer refinancing. Private loans also do not offer loan forgiveness currently, but federal loans do currently have some forgiveness programs depending on your employer, and they also have 7 different repayment strategies that you can look into that would make the payments more affordable for you and also allow for you to have more income on the side to throw that money wherever you see fit towards your principal loans. Whether it's a federal or private loan, you want to know what your options are, and you also want to know what payment plan you are currently in. Whether it's an income-based payment plan, an interest-only payment plan, you need to have an understanding on how much you're paying, how much of that money is going into the principal, and how long that is going to last. The second thing, after you've spoken to your loan provider, you then want to figure out how to increase the amount of money that is going towards your principal amount. A lot of times people are paying the minimum amount, and that is all going towards interest, which is going to extend the life of your loan, unfortunately.
I know student loans can be really, really daunting to talk about, and a lot of people view them as a hindrance to being able to get access to capital, to loans. But the best thing you can do right now is just get in a steady repayment plan. If you wanted to pay more on your student loans, you can. But for right now, the bare minimum is fine. Because you still have to live your life. You still have things that you want to do. You still have time to carve out a debt plan and tackling your student loans. But it shouldn't be a hindrance to most things that you want to do.
That's comforting for sure, because I was like, debt to income ratio. I'm like, don't know about that.
The layers that we'll build in place for you on the financial advisor side is, 1, let's build up your emergency savings account. For that rainy day, if something was to happen, hey, we feel comfortable with 4 to 6 months of our monthly expenses saved up. The second layer of protection is, continue to manage a low debt to income ratio.
In terms of those, do you think that paying off debt takes precedence over having those emergency savings, or vice versa?
I think the answer is different for every couple. I prefer to do more of a hybrid model. I think you can kind of manage both of those, right? So we can carve out your budget to say, hey, with the extra surplus we have each month, we can allocate a percentage of that to debt, and we can allocate a percentage of that to building up our savings account. Another strategy that can help with that is, because you guys are, in a 2-income household, challenge yourself to, hey, how can we live off of maybe one income and save the other income? And that would help to actually accelerate both of those goals.
Do you think that it would be important to start saving for a down payment now, or just work on the 4 to 6 months of savings and like the debt to income ratio?
I would say from a priority standpoint, emergency savings first. I prefer to call it paying yourself first.
Once we started to open up and he got the full story of everything that's happening, it really helped with some of the shame and guilt that I personally had around our finances.
He made us feel assured that we're not the only ones who deal with these problems, which I know that's true, but it's nice to hear it from a professional.
Remind me a bit more. So you talk about finances. Right now, I know you talk about it more with purchases. Do you talk about longer term savings, retirement savings, any of that with each other, or less so?
Less so. I think it took him 10 years to get life insurance after I got it. So my initial policy I just got for myself, because he was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then he had to learn the hard way. Something medical happened with him and he decided he was going to get life insurance. And I've had my retirement stuff for a while, and now he's finally starting to think about opening up his retirement account. So we spoke with someone. We also did that homework. We spoke with someone.
IRA. Good.
Yeah. Well, we didn't open it yet. There's things that he has to do first before he can actually open it. But we had a conversation with a rep, and he explained to us how he can do it, what the process would look like, and he said, whenever you're ready, we'll set it up.
Haizel said something that I was interested in, which was that you've given him advice several times about thinking about Amazon purchases and saving, and it wasn't until somebody else made the recommendation that he goes, oh, and then gave it some weight. So why is that? Because she knows a lot of stuff.
Right. That's she knows some of the stuff is a nice way of saying she nags. And sometimes
I would say she knows a lot of stuff though. She's good advice.
Yes.
I mean, really.
I'm the kind of person that can't be pushed to do anything, because then I just won't do it.
So if Adrian says it, or a rep says it, or a banker or a friend, and it's the same advice, do you feel like it's less nagging? Do you feel like it's more palatable coming from someone else?
It's more of a suggestion from somewhere else. From her, it's almost like a demand.
It's not I hold you accountable when you don't get things done. That's the part you're saying it's a nag, because I'm holding you accountable.
So with my job, luckily I get a 401k, and that's obviously stuff I'm not touching for a while. And then on my own, I do kind of have a hybrid system in place that you've mentioned, where I have everything budgeted out for bills, and I even budget out credit card payments. But then I also budget out some for investments for a personal IRA, Roth IRA. And then I also do stocks as well. But what I kind of wrestle with personally is should I leave that money in stocks, especially given how volatile, the market is with COVID and everything like that? Or should I take that money out, use that to pay off debt, get us to be debt free, and then start from scratch, and then maybe start investing again or whatnot?
I think you said some very important things that you're doing great right now. Number one, you're taking advantage of the free money with your 401k. It's really twofold, right? One, you're obviously saving for the future with retirement. Two, the company is giving you money to save for retirement. And three, it's a tax deduction in the current year, contributed to a 401k and an IRA. Everything you're doing with those type of accounts, keep on doing. So the key with your investment portfolio is, why are you investing in the first place, right? Answering that question. What is the goal? We've obviously identified some goals that you guys have. One, reduce debt. 2, save money for a house. 3, have a portfolio for investment projects. So we can definitely build a system for you that says, hey, okay, every month, we'll take X amount percentage and put that toward debt, X amount percentage, put that towards savings, and then keep a percentage in there. I think as long as you're chipping away at all of your goals at the same time, it's not a wrong decision in how you determine to use your profits from individual stocks.
That's a great way to put that.
Yeah, it sounds obvious now that you say it, but I guess I didn't think of it as a hybrid model where you can do all of them at once. More so I was oh, it's an all or none. Either I invest in stocks and I do well there, or I pay off all my debt at once, etc. So
a lot of people think of finance as it has to be one way or another. In finance, you can be very creative. It's not a one-size-fits-all model.
I can't express how helpful that was, to be honest, like just that small bit of information. So appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think for the next call, what I would love to see is let's focus on that debt to income ratio. I think focusing on that will give you guys a clear sense of, hey, this is where we are right now in terms of managing our debt, and this is where we need to be in the future.
We finally feel a little bit more confident, maybe not 100% yet, but we definitely feel like we are on the path to, okay, financial freedom sounds very dramatic, but I feel like we're on the path that we want to be on now.
So I have another challenge for you guys for next time. What do you guys think about talking to another family, so not a financial advisor, someone you don't know yet, about your finances and just having a really open conversation about what you guys are doing, what's going well, what you guys learned, and just sharing insights with them? How do you feel about doing that?
So you said someone we know or don't know?
We don't know.
Someone you don't know yet.
You can get a duplex using that first-time home buyers program. One challenge for the next meeting is to identify 5 potential properties for a duplex purchase.
Yeah, that's exciting.
The last time we talked, we had a challenge for you guys. Tell me a little bit about how that went. How'd it go?